The NCAA just changed the rule again, and here's what every hockey family needs to know as they start to plan their path for college athletics. So it's been on the table for a while, but the NCAA recently passed what's called the 5-year eligibility rule. Now, if you've never heard of this rule before, essentially what it does is it starts the age. Okay. Now, I want to be clear about something up front. Anytime a big ruling passes like this, there's a lot of fear, a lot of uncertainty that's created on the internet. So I wanted to make this video to bring some settling peace to your decisions without having you throw your hands up and go, no, my chance at college athletics is now over. If your player has serious ambitions to play college hockey in the NCAA though, this is something you definitely need to pay attention to, especially if they're around that age of 13 to 17. The closer you are to 17, the more important this is going to be. So what is this rule first? For decades, the NCAA gave athletes 5 years to complete 4 seasons of competition. So you had a built-in buffer year or a redshirt year essentially, and you could apply for waivers if that got in the way. Now, that's gone. And before you assume this was even about hockey, it had next to nothing to do with hockey. So when we think about the NCAA in general, what are the big teams? Football, of course, soccer, basketball, baseball. So yes, hockey was a consideration, but hockey was never in a place where this consideration would be flipped, where there would be any special permissions just for hockey athletes. It was mostly to fix a football and a basketball problem. Programs were holding on to players for 6, sometimes 7 years because a player would redshirt maybe 1 to 2 seasons, then they would sit on the roster for 4 or 5 more seasons. Sometimes if they got injured, they would apply for waivers. So some of these athletes who were meant to have 4, 5-year careers tops are being held on to for 6, 7 years. Now, how does that affect the team? Well, they're holding on to roster spots for aging players. They're tying up scholarship dollars. It can make recruiting really clunky and very difficult to manage when you're always trying to balance who's coming back and who's staying. You don't have that structured progress. And with hockey, sure, it's okay. You have maybe a 25-person roster to manage, but with football, you're managing 90, 100-person rosters. So it's a lot of moving parts to balance. So I can understand why the NCAA has implemented this to make it easier to project finances and also easier on teams to not have players for 7 years. So how did they fix that? The NCAA's answer was to put a hard age limit on the whole thing. So what they do now is they start the clock at 19. More specifically, they start the clock the academic year after your 19th birthday. We'll talk about that later because that's a very important point. But what this gives us now is clean rosters, more predictable recruiting, and no more 27-year-old college athletes who aren't playing hockey, because that was. So that was the intent. Hockey just happened to get caught in the crossfire, and that's okay. You can still manage to work around it. But the key difference here is that a lot of these athletes in other sports come directly out of high school, whereas hockey, you take time to develop through junior and then go to college after. So we want to assess the dynamics of how that's going to change and plan for college athletes who are playing junior or now may want to skip junior. So this model is called age-based eligibility. And what's happening is, again, Division I athletes get 5 years of eligibility. So the clock starts running the moment they first enroll in full-time university or post-secondary, or the start of the academic year after their 19th birthday, whichever comes first. So one thing you definitely want to be cautious about is if you have plans of playing Division I, not starting full-time university or full-time post-secondary, because that will trigger your clock to start before you feel ready. So 5 years to play 5 seasons, no red shirts, really simplifies the entire model, which in the grand scheme of things is actually a very big positive. But here's where this gets more specific to hockey, because I don't know the exact stats, but I would hedge a bet that the large majority, above 90% plus, of Division I men's hockey players come from junior hockey. Very rarely is it that a hockey athlete is ready to start Division I right at 18. So the typical path is you finish your minor hockey, you go into junior at 18, maybe 19. Honestly, a lot play 18, 19, 20, and then you move into college at 21. So using the old rules, that was what's called delayed enrollment, or starting as a mature student because you're over 20, but you would still show up with your 4 years of eligibility intact. Your clock didn't start until you enrolled. Under the new rules, however, you get 5 years now, but it starts after your 19th birthday, whether you're enrolled or not. So how does this pan out, or how does this change? So I want to give you some specific numbers. So if your player graduates at 18, right, and then they spend 2 years, so say their 18 year and their 19 year in junior, and then they start college at 20, they've lost 2 years. Now, so then they have 3 years to finish their degree. So what this looks like with a few examples is a player who enrolls in college after they turn 19 gets 5 years of eligibility, which means if you have a late calendar year birthday, because it's the start of the fall academic semester after your 19th birthday. That wording is very important, because if you turn 19 after the start of the academic year, so essentially like mid-September or later, you actually buy yourself another full calendar year, because your clock doesn't start until the next September. And this is a crazy shift, because up until this point, we've always thought, the earlier you're born in the year, the better. You have more development, you have more physical development, you can progress faster, you'll hit puberty sooner. There's a bunch of nuance to that. But now you actually get 9 months less in your later parts of your career and can miss out on a full year of that college eligibility. So this could be a real advantage for late bloomers who are those late age or those late month birthday. So now, to boil it down, the biggest decision to make now, to boil it all down, bring it back to earth, the big change now when you're evaluating your decisions of when to go to college, or if you want to go to college and play Division I sports, is can I go? First, it's like when your birthday is, because that's going to make a difference on how you plan out your years. But thinking, do I want to go to junior earlier so that I can still get, if I play junior at 17, I can still get 2 years of junior experience, 17 and 18, move into college at 19 and play 19 and take 5 years to do a 4-year degree? Or I can still play my 19-year-old season if I intend to take my degree in 4 years and still complete a full degree, right? So that depends. Do I want 5 years of college or 4 years of college? And do I want 2 years of junior or 3 years of junior, depending on when you start? The only thing that this really affects is the person who is adamant that they play their 19-year-old season, right? So they would start, so they'd play out their 19-year-old year, skip their 20-year-old year, they'd still have 4 years. Or if they play their 20-year-old season, they would only then have 3 years, because 2 of the years of their college eligibility would be spent still playing junior. Now, that's not the end of the world either. You can still get 3 years of Division I college eligibility, and then there's nothing stopping you from transferring. And from what I've read so far, this decision only impacts the NCAA Division I. So you can still transfer to Division III, you can transfer to ACHA, you can come to Canada, finish your career in U Sport. All of those are still options. It's not like you're high and dry with no hockey and no education. And that's why I want to make this video, is to essentially just dissipate some of the fear that comes out with a big news announcement. So yes, it's a decision to make. It's a decision to have made better earlier. But like anything, if you set yourself up better earlier, you will always have more options in the future. And the families who are making those decisions earlier are the families who are more likely to succeed anyway. So with this rule change, implementing the 5-year eligibility rule from your 19th birthday, and the recent rule change a couple of years ago of the NCAA accepting major junior players, there's going to be a lot of motion between leagues, where players are being recruited from, when players are trying to go Division I. So all that said, it's going to take some time to really see how things settle out. The NCAA has been pretty consistent for a few decades, and in the last 5 years has really shaken things up. If nothing else, the world is not ending, your dreams are not crashing. It just adds a decision-making element to planning your career. And that decision comes around how many years you'll spend in junior, and if you want to spend more years in junior, what your plan is going to be afterwards in college, right? Because if you still want to do the traditional path of playing out your 20-year-old year in junior, you then have 3 years of eligibility in NCAA. You can finish your 4th year without playing, or you can transfer schools to play university elsewhere. I promise you, your career is not over. And if you have questions about what this means for your player's specific situation, reach out. This is exactly the kind of decision that's a part of our program that we help families navigate. I'm not an advisor, I'm not an agent, I won't make those decisions for you, but I can help you think through situations that would apply for your family and for your player to make those decisions easier. That's it for this video. I just wanted to get it out there just to give you a little bit more information and context on what this rule change actually means, because it can be scary when you see a news headline and immediately think my career is over. It's not. Overall, it's a net positive for the NCAA. For hockey players, it really just adds a decision filter around that 19-year-old. I appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, make sure to click subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.